The only way to stop these things is with a bullet to the head.
Welcome to the Undead Comic Haul, where comics never die. I'm JB. This is where I would normally do a video where I've gone to the shops, gone down to my local comic book store, picked up a pull list, or had it even ordered to the house, as I've had to do a couple of times, and show you what I got. But I didn't do that this week because literally nothing came out this week that I wanted to get. I've put a little blog post on it. If you go to www.talknerdy.uk, you know I do like a comprehensive list of all the comics that are coming out this week. So you can, when you go in the shop, you can check and double check and ask your guy behind the till, hey, this is meant to be there, where's this? But this week there was just nothing. So this week I thought, as I think it's my 5th one of these I've done, I would just do a little thing where I like trades a lot. I love my trades. I've got plenty of them behind the camera there. But I thought I'd pick out 5 trades that are my favourite ones I would recommend to anyone either just beginning to get into comics, or you want to recommend to a friend, or if you like comics and you've never read it before. Batman Hush. This is an unforgettable story by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. The artwork throughout it all is beautiful. This is a good example right here. This was really entertaining to read. I don't remember. It's got this thing where Batman is 3 people. He's Bruce Wayne, the millionaire, billionaire. He's Bruce Wayne, secretly Batman, and he's Batman. And this showed every shade of this character, just every shade. Just I'm a massive Batman fan anyway, but there was just nothing about this I didn't like. And if you're a Batman fan and you've never read a comic, but you love the cartoons or you like the films, and you just think it's overwhelming when you go into a comic book shop, where do I begin with Batman? This is perfect. This is a really good place to jump on. Just go and buy it. It's fantastic. Just read it, and then from there on, the world's your oyster. So yeah, Batman Hush. Earth's Mightiest Hero, Captain Marvel. This collects Captain Marvel 1 to 6, In Pursuit of Flight. This, again, I really like my female superheroes. So it's little things like the artwork is sublime. I absolutely love all the drawings by, it's a mixture of Dexter Soy, Richard Ellison, Al Berionivio, which I might be pronouncing wrong, and Emma Rios. So up until this, she'd just been Ms. Marvel. And then it was here that she finally unmasked and became Captain Marvel. I don't know how true they're going to say to that in the film coming up, but it shows her just finally deciding to take on this persona, and why it's a persona close to her heart that she does this and takes this mantle of Captain Marvel. And if you don't know what I mean by that, again, perfect point to jump on, because there's a lot of Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers as a character has been around for years. And again, there's so much you could go through, but this is a perfect jumping on point. So do it, pick this up, great book. It's The Superior Spider-Man. I remember reading, and this is before I was into proper comics, I remember reading about Peter Parker dying. It was in the news, would you believe? It was actually in actual news, the killing Peter Parker. And I thought that was a dead interesting move, because I'd grown up with the cartoons, the films. I was aware of Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so I thought, why would they kill him? Why would they do that? I wasn't aware, obviously, there've been quite a lot of other men to rock the mantle of Spider-Man. But this was an interesting take as Dr. Otto Octavius becomes Spider-Man. And it's a really entertaining read. You've got this clash of personalities of him trying to be Spider-Man, trying to be Peter Parker, trying to be himself. There's so many layers to this character. And it's great for both readers of Spider-Man. If you're new to Spider-Man, pick it up, because you know what the character's like anyway. And this is a really great point to go on, because the arc is quite long, and it does finish with, no spoilers, but is Dr. Otto Octavius Spider-Man anymore? No. So then you can carry on. And if you've been a Spider-Man reader for a long time and never picked this up, why not? It's by Dan Slott, who's a great writer. It's illustrated by Ryan Stegman. And there's some real interesting points in this as well. And the reason why it's called Superior Spider-Man, well, you got to read it to find out. again, pick it up, great one. Not all comics are about superheroes, not all heroes wear capes, and some comics out there you might not even know you like. If you think all comics are superheroes, you'd be wrong. The following one I'm going to show you now is Saga. I've bought this now for two of my friends, Gaz and Diz, who not really interested in reading comics. Diz has read a couple of online, Gaz have read Watchmen, and again they found it addictive because it isn't a superhero story, it's just a great story. It's by Brian K. Vaughan with Fiona Staples. The artwork, again, I know it sounds I'm going on about the artwork a bit, but the artwork in all these books is important because it's got to be great to look at. It's got to really entice you and bring you in, and these do. Again, with all the ones that I've mentioned before, though, I will like to point out the story's great, the script is fantastic. This is really funny. It's like this mad, sarcastic space opera. It's almost self-aware of how weird and ridiculous it is, and it doesn't censor itself, which is quite good. So you're going to get there's some images in here that I can't show you. If you're under 18, you probably shouldn't be reading this. It's got swearing, blood, guts, nudity, but that's what makes it almost more realistic. The fact that you've got these creatures in space, these aliens, trying to get their unrequited love and just run off together, and there's a whole war, a whole world's against them, sounds ridiculous. But the language and what actually happens and the decisions they take are so real that it's believable. And I would, again, recommend you pick this up. I wrote a whole blog on why this book should be picked up. Read this book. Preacher. So Preacher is the darkest book I've probably got picked up here. It's by Garth Ennis with Stephen Dillon drawing it. It's recently been turned into a hit TV show. And the TV hit show uses these books as kind of a stencil. It does some things that the book does. It does quite a lot that the book doesn't. But they are both in the same vein and tone. The hero isn't really a hero. He's very much an anti-hero, but then the villains are so villainous, as it were, that he's the best of the bad bunch. What can I show you? It was written in the 90s, so the artwork isn't exactly as what you've seen in the previous books, but it's the tone. It fits the tone, it's gorgeous. And some people question whether it's held up in the sense of how it portrays women, how it portrays race. I think it does, because I think it was a snapshot of its time, and I think Garth Ennis knew that, and I think he does his best to portray women and other races, showing that they want to be treated equally, but not being treated equally. And I think it shows that it's no fault of the character and no fault of the writer. It was just, unfortunately, a different time. And to be honest, no one comes out good in this. It's like South Park. No one comes out good in this. No one, you don't go, well, you know who really shone in this? White Christian men. No, they do not. No. This is one to read if you've got a good stomach, because there's some really brutal scenes. But it's fantastic. Again, if you've never read a comic before, and what I've said is cute, you think, all these ones, Jay, oh, well, that sounds a bit too funny and light-hearted and a bit silly. That sounds too superhero-y and dark. That sounds too superhero-y and light. And that just sounds too ridiculous. That's fine. Then this is for you, because this is the reality. This is the dark in the light. What would you recommend to someone? Put it in the comments down below. Don't forget to rate, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And do not worry, next week there is comics out that I want to pick up, so we'll all be back to normal. And if you didn't know, you can find out all the comics coming out if you go over to talknerdy.uk and look at the comprehensive comic list that comes out every week. I've been JB, and I've been Talking Nerdy. Peace!